good so far. And this one is picked off and going back the other way. Now it's a foot race, and that is that. Welcome to the Philadelphia Eagles, Andrew Makuba. A pick six the other way on the first play of the second quarter. Get you in the running. Today's Eagles player stats presented by Jefferson Health. Jefferson Health, official hospital of the Philadelphia Eagles. And Gabriel, who had been...
Shedeur Sanders walked onto that Cleveland Browns practice field like a man on a mission. And from the very first snap, he didn't just play football. He made a statement. The Browns thought they were drafting a project in the 5th round. A quarterback to develop slowly behind veterans like Joe Flacco, maybe even a guy who would sit for a year or two. But Shedeur had no interest in being anybody's project. From the moment he strapped on that helmet, he came for blood, and he came for respect. Day 7 of training camp will be remembered as the day he completely flipped Cleveland's quarterback conversation upside down. What was supposed to be another routine practice turned into a showcase that left teammates, coaches, and even the media buzzing, because Shedeur Sanders didn't just look good. He looked unstoppable. He wasn't facing the 3rd string. He wasn't beating up on rookies. He went right at the Browns' starting defense and he torched them, play after play, drive after drive. Suddenly, the so-called 5th round flyer was making the starting unit look like they had no answers. And that was just the beginning. Across from him stood Dylan Gabriel, the highly touted quarterback the Browns picked earlier. The guy scouts swore had the better pedigree, the cleaner mechanics, the safer option. Gabriel came in with hype, with the label of being NFL ready. But as camp rolled on, the energy shifted. Every throw, every rep, every drill started to feel like a silent duel between Shedeur and Gabriel. 2 quarterbacks drafted into the same team, but living in completely different realities. And by day 7, it wasn't just about who could throw a better spiral, it was about who could take over Cleveland, who could win over the locker room, and who the city would rally behind when the season kicked off. And make no mistake, Shedeur Sanders made his case loud and clear. Coaches and scouts noticed it. Teammates whispered about it. Fans on social media couldn't stop talking about it. But here's the twist. While Shedeur was thriving, Dylan Gabriel was stumbling, and every stumble added fuel to the fire. The Browns thought they had drafted security, but instead, they might have drafted a controversy. And in the NFL, quarterback controversies don't fade quietly, they explode. So how did Shedeur Sanders, a supposed 5th round gamble, end up shaking an entire franchise to its core in less than a week? And what does that mean for Dylan Gabriel, who suddenly finds himself on the wrong side of momentum? Let's rewind and unpack the drama that's turning Cleveland into the most unexpected quarterback battleground in the league. From the very start of camp, Shedeur carried himself differently. It wasn't cocky, it was calculated. He knew the narratives. He knew people said he benefited from playing under Deion Sanders, that Colorado's hype machine inflated his draft stock, that he wasn't ready for the speed of the NFL. Every single throw he made felt like he was answering those critics. Quick release, laser accuracy, poise in the pocket that didn't match the label of rookie. And then there was the swagger. The same energy that made him polarizing in college suddenly felt magnetic in the NFL. When Shedeur started carving up Cleveland starters, it wasn't just about stats, it was about presence. He looked like he belonged. Dylan Gabriel, on the other hand, came in as the polished prospect. The Oklahoma transfer who put up numbers, who looked smooth in workouts, who the Browns believed could transition into the league without the chaos. But the NFL doesn't care about polish on paper, it cares about performance under pressure. And under pressure, Gabriel's game started to crack. His reads came slower. His timing looked shaky. The same defense Shedeur was slicing through gave Gabriel trouble, and the whisper started. Maybe the Browns drafted the wrong guy first. By day 7, that whisper was more like a roar. Shedeur hit throws that left jaws on the ground. Deep outs with perfect timing. Strikes across the middle into tight windows. Even when the pocket collapsed, he stayed calm, extended plays, and delivered. Every rep felt like another check mark in his favor. Another reason to question Cleveland's draft strategy. Meanwhile, Gabriel couldn't find rhythm. A misread here, a late ball there. And then came the mistakes. Throws behind receivers, near interceptions, drives that stalled. For a rookie, those are forgivable. But when the guy drafted 2 rounds after you is looking like a star, your mistakes don't look small. They look catastrophic. The media pounced. Headlines started surfacing. Is Shedeur Sanders outplaying Dylan Gabriel already? Talk shows debated it. Fans on Twitter and Instagram were calling for Shedeur to leapfrog Gabriel on the depth chart. And in the locker room, that's where things get real. Players know. They can feel when a quarterback has it. They can feel when momentum is shifting. And word is, the players were feeling Shedeur. Veterans were impressed. Receivers wanted to catch passes from him. Even defensive guys were admitting privately that he was giving them headaches. When a locker room starts leaning one way, it's only a matter of time before the coaches feel it too. The Browns didn't expect this. They thought they could ease Shedeur in, let Gabriel compete, let the veterans hold the reins. But in the NFL, plans go out the window when reality slaps you in the face, and reality was simple. Shedeur Sanders was forcing his way into the conversation. That's when the controversy became unavoidable, because quarterback battles aren't just about talent, they're about politics. Draft position matters. Investment matters. Teams hate admitting they might have made a mistake. Gabriel was the earlier pick, the guy they invested more in. To bench him before he even got a chance. That's a nightmare for the front office. But to ignore what Shedeur was doing? That could be a nightmare on the field. And fans, they don't care about politics. They care about results. They care about who excites them. And right now, Shedeur Sanders is the name on their lips. Every viral clip, every highlight throw, every story out of camp, it all feeds the hype machine. Suddenly, a 5th-round rookie is the most talked about player in Cleveland. The pressure on Gabriel is suffocating. Imagine being the guy drafted earlier, only to watch the rookie taken after you steal the spotlight. Every mistake you make gets magnified. Every rep you lose makes you look worse. And the comparisons, they never stop. Fans aren't patient. They're brutal. If Shedeur looks electric while you look ordinary, they're going to call it out. They're going to demand change. They're going to push for the coach to make the move, no matter how early it is. That's the situation Dylan Gabriel finds himself in. A no-win scenario where the only way to silence the noise is to play flawless football. But that's easier said than done. And here's the thing about Shedeur. He thrives on this. The doubt, the criticism, the comparisons. His entire career has been built on proving people wrong. People said he was just Deion's kid. People said he couldn't hang in the Pac-12. People said he wasn't NFL material. And every single time he's used that as fuel. Now, in Cleveland, he's doing it again. And Gabriel, he's caught in the storm. Let's zoom out for a second. This isn't just about 2 rookies battling in camp. This is about the future of the Cleveland Browns. This is about a franchise that has been searching for stability at quarterback for decades. They've had flashes, they've had hype, but they haven't had consistency. Now they have 2 young quarterbacks, and the fan base is already dividing. One side is chanting for Shedeur, the electric playmaker. The other side is clinging to Gabriel, the steady hand they invested in. And that division, that's how controversies become headlines, and headlines become distractions. For Shedeur, this is an opportunity to cement himself as the face of the Browns' future. For Gabriel, this is a fight for survival. And for the Browns, this is a decision that could define their next 5 years. Do they ride the hot hand, or do they protect their investment? Do they give the city what it wants, or do they stick to their plan? These are the questions hanging over Cleveland right now. And no matter which way it goes, one thing is certain. Shedeur Sanders isn't just here to compete. He's here to take over. And Dylan Gabriel? He's got to find a way to stop the bleeding before it's too late. But that's the beauty of the NFL. 1 week, 1 practice, 1 throw can change everything. And in Cleveland, everything just changed. Because on day 7 of camp, Shedeur Sanders didn't just have a good practice. He sent a message to his teammates, a message to his coaches, a message to Dylan Gabriel, and most importantly, a message to the entire NFL. Don't sleep on Shedeur Sanders, because if you do, he'll make you regret it. And for Dylan Gabriel, the nightmare is just beginning. The duel between these 2 rookies isn't over, not by a long shot. But if this is how it starts, just imagine how explosive it's going to get when the lights are on, the games are real, and the city of Cleveland is forced to pick a side. One thing's for sure, the Browns thought they were drafting depth, but instead they drafted drama. And in the NFL, drama sells. This is just the opening act. What happens next? That's the part no one's ready for.